Oh, shoot. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. I realized I forgot to do something.
Oh.
The second I hit go live.
Did you announce this earlier?
I did.
Okay,
done.
Back here. Reminder, we've just started.
Long time no see. I moved positions and changed clothes because the shirt I had on earlier was not a bra-free kind of shirt. And I felt like after 6 p.m., you don't need a bra anymore. Hello. I know everybody needed to know that. Welcome. Hi, Rye. Thanks for bullying me into buddy reading with you. Hello. I'm just going to flip through these pretty quick. Welcome. You should.
Mm-hmm. My dad is making matzo ball soup, and I'm so ready for it.
Yum. I'll probably end up eating popcorn for dinner because I had a really, really late lunch. Because I ate lunch at like 3 o'clock or something like that, 3:30. Fair. Can't believe there's been reading every day of this month. Yes.
I'm back out of busy season. I'm ready to sprint.
Except for Monday and Tuesday.
Oh yeah, because I have the voice, but I've sprinted after the voice a couple times. You're just sleeping.
No, when you sprint at 8:30, I'm usually awake. We'll get up there. You're a ground dog. He's got his toy in his mouth and he's staring at me like, are you going to help me up on the couch?
Fair.
You're a ground dog. You can do it all by yourself. I promise. Don't come over here looking at me. Hang on. Here, go over there. Come here. Oh. There.
Oh, I need to do some math. I forgot about that.
Math?
Yeah. I have a formula on a thing that the math is wrong for.
Oh, okay.
And I realized it last night. I thought it was correct when I did it yesterday, and then in bed last night I was like, wait, 1 + 1 does not equal 3. Like that's not what it was, but like that's the process that happened in my head. Like that math equation was wrong.
Yeah. Did you weight the thing in certain favors, or did you just do a straight average?
So for the one that we're doing, it's straight. But the one I'm playing with, it's average. And I was going to ask people if they want to do that.
Yes, but it'll have to be so like what I think would be cool is if you do weighted, maybe share that formula so that if you wanted to weight different things depending on your preference, it would be easy to edit. Not for our thing, but for the other thing.
Well, technically all the formulas are shared.
That's true. You can just click on the cell.
You just have to know how to do it.
Yeah, that's true. You just got to click on the cell. But yes, I actually think, I don't know.
Technically, like, if it actually doesn't affect, like, things that are really close that much. So, like, Gallows Hill, my rating last night, I can just say it. I'm playing with a new freaking sheet system that I might release to everyone next year, but my enjoyment is weighted higher than anything else in it because I do enjoyment. So technically when I rated Gallows Hill yesterday, like it's pretty much roughly the same because I've been comparing back and forth. But if I have something where my enjoyment is so high or so low, that's when it matters. But when it's like pretty, like when numbers are all like 7s and 8s or whatever, it doesn't really affect it that much. But like if all my numbers are 3s and 4s and then I have a 9 for enjoyment, that's when you'll really see that star spike because it's weighted so high.
Yeah.
But
fair. I'm getting not bullied, but sort of bullied into reading Gallows Hill. So I'm not supposed to be doing that, but I'm gonna. And Emma's not here to yell at me, so.
I am probably reading Mary, and then I might switch to the Splinter King at some point, but I need to find my lost book.
We need to do that so that we can read Godbreaker.
This is true. Yes, something like the Cawpile system, but Cawpile doesn't work for me. It never has. I've always really struggled with it. So, yeah, something like that, essentially.
I like CallPal, but I always find that my interpretations of things are not what she meant, because in order to make it work for fantasy, you do kind of have to think about things a little bit differently.
Which that's fine then. I think like works for you, it works for you. But I always just like, yeah, there's
I
a
find
couple.
it lacking a little bit in certain areas. Like it's fine for thrillers. It works well for thrillers or horror, but for like fantasy, I just felt like I need a world building section, and I need like magic systems and stuff like that where you get
Mhm.
that a little bit in CallPal, but you have to shimmy it into other places where they might have had a lower score for something else, and so it just doesn't work.
Yeah, for me, it's really as we talked about this, like logic for me because of logic automatically goes into me for like plot. Like, did the plot make
Mhm.
sense? Did are the characters logistically
Yeah,
these characters? So like the logic rating, I can't do because I'm like I've already rated things for it.
right.
But
But
like
for
in a
me,
thriller, logic worked really
yes,
well because I'm like
exactly.
there's the logic, but
Exactly. So that's kind of one of those situations where it's like I get so used to, if I'm trying to fill out CallPal, trying to think about logic in a different way, but it just you have to move things around too much in your brain. It's a lot of effort.
so I will say like my sheet will probably work best for people who read I think like speculative fiction.
Yeah.
So like fantasies, sci-fi's, horrors. Um but I do think that it's very basic. So like it worked really well for for Gallows Hill for me.
Mhm.
So
Nothing wrong with basic. Yeah. I mean, it works, but it doesn't all at the same time. Like, it works for what I need because that's all I've got. And sometimes gut feeling, you're just kind of leaning too many different ways and you need something to help break the tie a little bit.
mhm.
But I personally in the future want a more objective rating system. And call pile to me is still a little bit too subjective. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Consider the yelling to be happening. Shush, Emma. It will get read. It just may not be in the next 3 hours. I
God.
still have time. Determined to finish To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. Nice. Create your own version for romance. Yeah, I can see where Call Pal wouldn't work as well for romance too.
Yeah.
Hello. Tell Crystal
Although
I said hi.
I do think my system would work very well for actually any genre because it's very basic. It's very basic. And the one that we
Mhm.
call world building, like for me, I call it world building, but when I summon it to the public, it's actually going to just be called setting because I think
Yeah,
that setting just encompasses what world building is.
yeah, I can see that.
Um, and then if you think about it in terms of like a horror, the setting is the world building. It's just atmospheric and stuff
Yeah.
instead of
So you can
that.
still rate the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because for me, like Carol Hunt, really, really high in atmosphere or
Mhm.
setting, but atmosphere in a fantasy it's not super applicable.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
why I think it just goes under setting because the setting of a fantasy is that world
Mhm.
building.
Exactly. But I've been too lazy to try to tweak it. I just shove my thoughts into the categories listed. So
Yeah. I stopped using it this year unless I needed again that like
me too.
tiebreaker.
Me too.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna figure out my own. And like I tweaked Compile quite a bit in terms of like other stats that I wanted.
Mhm.
Um, so like
I did too.
breakdowns of like because on Compile you get the breakdown of like every 50 page is or whatever, but I wanted to see more like broad for my pages. So I have like if a book is less than 300, it's categorized and I'll see like the graph of, like how much from 300 I read, how much over like 600 I read, and like all
Mhm.
that is the like I don't really care about how many 250-page books I read.
Right.
I care about how many small books I read, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
makes perfect sense because that was one thing in my mid-year stats. I was like, okay, I'm trying to look at these in blocks, but it's listed to me in too small of chunks. But my
Yeah.
brain is trying to do them in bigger chunks.
Mhm. G's rating system is incredible
Oh,
though.
it
Like
is.
I
Yeah, not
can't
hating it all on Call Pile. It's
like
awesome.
she's done such an amazing job. And again, what worked for some people might not work for others, and that's
Mhm.
all it was. And like she was, I feel like one of the first to really put out something like
Yeah.
that for people to use. Like I know Allie from Hardback Quarter also has one.
Mhm.
I
Hers
think
was
for
just more
me, I
stats
almost
than rating
want
system.
simplicity.
Yeah. I
That's
ended up taking out so much stuff out of that spreadsheet too because
Mhm.
it just wasn't things that I personally tracked, but I can see where you would want to make it broad and then let people kind of narrow down to
Yeah,
what they need.
so easy to delete things.
Yeah. I just found myself with CallPal, especially in the last probably 6 months. I'll read a book and rate it on my gut, and then I'll go back and like need to put it in the sheet so that I can keep track of everything because that's how I see what I've read for like wrap ups and stuff, so I don't forget anything.
Mhm.
And I would go through the rating and I would get it to the end and then be like, yeah, that's not what I rated it. That's not right. And I would go start shifting numbers to make it the rating I thought it should be.
I've
So it
done
just
that.
wasn't working for me.
That's why I'm like, I'm really playing with weights and stuff right now to see how it goes. And yes, Hannah, I agree with this. Like for me,
Mhm.
enjoyment matters more than anything else. So I'm weighing my enjoyment as double the amount of
Mhm.
anything else in this spreadsheet. But it is really easy to change. Um,
Mhm.
I could
Mhm.
walk people through in a video how to change it too.
Well, and if you're basing it on enjoyment, if you personally enjoy a more character-driven story, it's your characters is going to be weighted more in the enjoyment. Does that make sense? So like
Mhm.
it's going to come out in the wash essentially. Yeah. Yeah. Allie's is really in depth too.
Really
Oh,
in
I
depth.
used to use hers and like changed it a little bit. G's included more this year. So, and I liked the way that her graphs showed up a little bit better, but I still deleted so many graphs, shifted things up. I had to do a lot of tweaking to get that exactly where I wanted it.
And I get why she would just add so much things because even she says she's like, I don't use any of this, but
Yeah.
like because
Some things,
everyone's asking for it, and so she was just doing it for the general public. But
hello, sir.
yeah. Oh, hello, Gavin.
I tip my hat to your thumbnail.
Yes,
Yes.
currently. I mean, I half made one for the Spiffbo Cassidy's version thing, and so I just was like, well, I'm gonna keep using this and do it even more. And yeah.
I'm so
So
excited to delve into
I'm
that.
making a spreadsheet for myself, and I figured why not share it when it's done.
Yes. Ah, I feel like one of those readers who just knows what a rating will be. Hey, that's awesome. I wish I was. Normally, I'm like getting down to the wire and I'm like, all right, I'm a waffler. It's easy to add too much and let people remove things. Yes,
Yeah.
completely agree. Especially in people that don't know how to use Excel. It's so hard to sometimes make those graphs. And so if they're already made, you can delete them, whereas it's hard for people to add rows and create formulas for other sheets. So
Thank the Lord
definitely
for
see why she does that.
Rachel and Nick, who I've asked both of them for help a couple times and been like, please help me. I don't know how I know I can do this. I know kind of how to get there, but something's going wrong.
Pretty much you can do anything with Excel. And like I said, Excel's got a really, really good support group too. So if they don't know how to do it, you can put a picture of what you have and what you want. And people that are like gurus will answer that and they'll formulate the whole thing for you. It's really cool.
Also, I figured this was an easier way to figure out how to do Realmathon spreadsheet. So I'm
Yes.
just like trying to play around with it as often as I can
Mhm.
to then be able to do Realmathons.
I agree. Google Sheets are easier to use than Excel.
Yeah,
Excel lets you do more, but they're not quite as user friendly.
I just use Excel as a blanket term.
Yeah.
I am using Google Sheets.
Yeah. Google Sheets is the one with the good support system.
It does make it hard though because Nick is trained. Like my
Excel.
boyfriend's job is Excel, but he's like, trained in Excel, so he takes him like a little bit to like figure out how to convert it over because they're not the same.
Yeah.
So
It's funny. Okay. Do we
Mhm.
want to do our first sprint now that we have See, this is why you guys come to these sprints is because we share things that we don't tell everybody else because y'all are special.
Yeah, normally I wait a little bit before I'm spilling my secrets, but
You're usually more like 3 sprints in before the secrets come out.
you had to like work up to seeing them. You had to be with me here all night, but
Cassidy, I might have encouraged this a little bit. That's okay.
that's okay.
We encourage the secrets here.
It's not really a secret. It was really just I'm making a formula for myself.
Yeah, they're not too far off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get trained in Excel. I wish I had. My mom knows how to use it. She took a course in it, but I'm just like,
I failed my class in it.
"Meh." Ooh,
And
Emma, what'd you put?
what?
Oh yeah, I've seen these. Sorry, got sidetracked. Okay, I still have a tomato timer. It's just not shared. That's okay.
Yes, Deb, the Patreon sprints were the warm up. We're in full spilling mode now. I've been live for 6 hours
That's a long
already.
time.
Like
We've been here a while. Okay. We don't want to do a 30-minute. We want to do a 40-minute. And I'm probably
Oh,
gonna
wait,
eat.
let's use the long break guy again.
Oh, okay, okay. So we found out that the tomatoes are different depending on which one you use, and so he's cute, and we're gonna use him.
Look at him.
He's just gonna drink his coffee and chill. So cute. I'm probably not gonna read in this sprint. I'm probably gonna eat dinner, but
Fair.
okay. See you guys back in 40 minutes. Hello. Is everyone productive?
No.
No. You looked like you were productive. You're doing the typey thing.
I figured out one thing that I need to do, and I ate, and then I read 2 pages of Mary.
Nice, nice. I read 30 pages of Gallows Hill and ate dinner and finished my episode of The Voice.
I'm excited. You guys in the chat need to just like text like crazy.
I'm only 30 pages in, so I haven't read much. All I know is what the heck happened? What did they look like? They better tell me. And why did they send her away? So I'm curious.
Do you think that the creepy setup in this one, it's like Carol Haunt, where like it's set up so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
From below, it took a really long time to get to the creep, but it was worth it. Like it was a very slow beginning. And this one, I was like hooked. Like I was texting Kaylee within 60 pages, being like, "This is so creepy already. Like, what is going on?"
I'm excited. The intrigue is definitely there.
I should stop hyping it up because, yeah.
I'm already liking it so much better than the other two that I read. Like, it's not doing most of the things that annoyed the crap out of me in those other books. So I'm really liking it. You can tell that those were written in like 2015 and this was 7 years later though, because there's a huge difference in the writing. Huge.
I could be wrong. I believe this is her first one traditionally published.
Oh, cool.
I could be wrong. She could have a couple more that are traditionally published, but I know she was indie and she was recently picked up by like a publisher.
Which Carol Hunt was like 2017.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're all getting new prints or something, I think. Because she was picked up by the thriller horror section of what starts with an O. No, that doesn't start with an O. Source Books.
Oh yeah. I think they've already republished most of them because they've redone all of the covers.
So that's why those all happened. So
Gotcha.
she might have been picked up for a couple years, which then means I think that her last 3, I think Haunting of Leigh Harker might have also been traditionally published, but like obviously you can see that jump, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a drastic improvement in writing, and a lot of the things, the main thing I think that annoyed me in one of those other two was just the constant inner monologue, but it was always a completely repetitive of what was already pretty explicitly said. It's like she had to restate it again. And I'm like, why?
You might have issues with that still, but
great. I don't understand it. It's so repetitive. I'm like, why? Either don't say it in the text and then do it in the inner monologue, or don't do the inner monologue. Like, why are we doing both? I don't understand. It's not enough that it like drastically impacts my enjoyment, but it's enough that it's like, why? Why?
Hopefully you like it.
I think I will.
Supposed to be doing this while we talk.
Scrolled Instagram and read 20 pages. Nice. Guess who was distracting you?
I needed Rachel expertise on something.
We love Rachel expertise. Watch Station 19. Oh yeah, it's Thursday. 65 pages of The Violent Delights. Oh, the thriller one, not the fantasy. Gotcha. Read 12 pages. You guys did great. Just a bunch of big reveals. Yeah, it does have a lot of big reveals right there at the end. Let's get through these.
Also, now you're not alone. Most people's favorite is Carol Hunt. We are the unpopular squad over here.
Wait, why are you unpopular?
Because Hannah said, I don't know, I gave Carol Hunt 5 stars.
Oh.
Most people love Carol Hunt.
I did love Carol Hunt until the last 35 pages.
I think, yeah. I do wish I had known that she was that type of writer before. I think it has changed a little bit of my expectations going into a book.
I knew that she was that type of writer before going in. And I think, like you said, it's not that type of ending that bothers me. It was that particular
telling
ending.
me that this thing is happening, and then 5 seconds later just saying you like you're gonna give me that consequence, give me that consequence. If you don't give me that consequence, I'm fine.
Exactly. Started another new book and got distracted. Deb, how many books do you have going? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Tell me. They're indie, but they're big indie. Yeah, Source Books is basically not indie.
That's it. I originally thought they were indie, and then I like Googled it, and I was like,
They call themselves indie, but they're not.
because
This one actually says Poisoned Pin Press.
Yes. It does say that on it. Which I think was her. That's because I'm pretty sure that's her publishing from like, you know how lots of self-pubbed authors just make their own like indie thingy? I think that's what she did. I think if you Google it, it literally says our authors and only her. So I think that's what she did for indies. Because I think when you do it that way, you can write things off more than if you're just you're gonna have a company and do things.
Yeah.
An
LLC kind of thing.
Yeah.
You had to check. That's funny.
Oh, 4 is not that bad. I definitely thought you had way more.
I thought it was like 8 the way you were talking.
I have only 2 ongoing. 3.
Wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. I don't do this much anymore. Illborn, technically, this one, Elder Race, the Django Wexler, and Enclaves.
You do have a lot going on.
Good night. It's because I am in a really indecisive mood. And I don't do that very often, but when I do, I cannot pick anything.
I'm not on the screen, but whoever's going to bed, good night.
Emma.
Oh, good night, Emma. I needed to check if I needed to switch colors.
I wish I kept up with mine, but we're just going to start over. Because it literally looks like this. Like it's
wonky. It's 100% wonky. We're just going with it.
Mine's not wonky. Mine is wonk. It looks like it goes out on one side, like in on the other. It's bad.
I'm pretty sure that's what mine looks like, but we just accepted it.
Yours is pretty straight. You just only show us the straight parts.
Yeah.
It looks so clean.
I need another bowl of soup. I'm still hungry. That was delicious.
More soup.
Well, I will when we sprint again, but not like currently. Like, I don't need to go right at this moment, but I was just.
Are you dying for soup?
My thoughts out loud.
4 books. 4 or 5. Everybody's a multi-reader right now.
You know what? At the end of the year, there's no time for 1 book per person anymore. We're all just like, we need every book possible.
Yep. I'll finish off the Django Wexler and Elder Race tomorrow. And then how much do I have left of Enclaves? Ooh, Blood of the Chosen's ready to borrow. Borrow. You are mine now. I'm 37% in, so 9.5 hours to go in that one. Run, Cassidy, go get that soup.
It's currently so I don't have it very often. It's like
what kind was it again?
It's called matzo ball soup, but it's not like cheese. Like you probably think when I say a matzo ball.
Fantastic. What's wrong with cheese?
No, it's not cheese.
I mean, both sound good, but what's wrong with cheese?
Like a Jewish dish. So we had matzo ball soup and latkes. It's like this. I don't know how to. It's like a dough. It's like essentially a bowl of dough. It's delicious. I sent a picture in my Discord earlier.
It's going. It's going. I'm not sure I'm in love with it, but it's going. Got a couple of holds coming in. Everyone with choices. Yes. That sounds really good. I want a picture.
And I like that everyone's like, why would we think cheese? I'm confused. Because when I say matzo, don't you think of like matzo cheese, like mozzarella? I feel like that's what everyone normally thinks of.
Yeah. Oh, I love matzo ball soup. I want to see. I feel like that's weird to ask somebody to see their food, but with you, I don't feel like it's weird.
It's in the Discord. I know all the time. You're like, this is weird, but it's something I do like regularly. I'm like,
if it were anybody else, but Cassidy, nah.
I love food. I like to look at food. We literally have a Discord, not Discord. We have a group chat, me, my mom, my sister, and my aunt, and all we do in it is send pictures of our food. Anything we
I
eat,
love
we
that.
take a picture of it and we send it to each other and we go, "Yum, that looks good." Literally the entire convo.
I love it. I love it. You have eight holds going on. Wow, that's impressive. Can I help you, sir? Ellie's just sitting here staring at me. Why?
You're not paying him enough attention today, that's why. He's like, "You've been home all day, but you've been busy talking to your friends and not me."
Pretty much. He's pouting. He's done the whole like I'm gonna just lay my head between my paws and pout thing. 8 holds. I mean, I feel ya. Love seeing people's food. Neighbors group Jewish, so you ate over there all the time. I've never had it, but it sounds good.
Yeah, it's such a staple, but we don't really celebrate any of the Jewish holidays anymore, so we don't really eat it as much because that was pretty much we ate it then.
Did y'all do Christmas or Hanukkah?
When I was little, we celebrated both, but like we didn't get presents for Hanukkah. Like that's not like a thing.
Yeah.
Like people they did that to compete with Christmas because like
Yeah.
but, like Jewish like it wasn't a thing really, but like we do both.
Gotcha.
My grandmother's from Israel, so it's more just like we mostly celebrated things for her. But like religious wise, I mean, I have no religion, but like my
Fair.
mother is.
Your mother grew up entirely Jewish neighborhood. That's awesome. We had where I lived in for my master's, I lived across the street from a Greek church and like a Greek Orthodox church. And so every year they do a Greek festival because it's in the middle of downtown, like smack in the middle of the hospital. And so people would just walk up and they would have homemade vendors that would have just tons of Greek food. It was
delicious.
So and it was right across from like I could just look down from my balcony and see it. So I got to watch everybody, smell it, go down, eat. It was awesome.
Yum.
It was awesome. I miss that apartment so much.
My dad just went to shovel the snow, and I'm like, should I be a good child and go help him?
Probably, but
like I hate shoveling snow.
You're gonna get lots of snow shoveling. So.
I never shovel snow. I'm a spoiled child.
That was really good. I mean, I would make David shovel snow if we had snow. I don't mow the yard. I make him mow the yard.
I would mow, but I hate shoveling snow. Mostly because I'm so freaking weak that I feel like I'm not effective at it. Like, it takes me forever because I have to use, like, the smallest pile of snows or else it's too heavy.
That's the way it is when we mow because I don't mow that often, and we have a push mower. And I'm like, you can do this in a third of the time that I can. So why don't you just do it? Because we don't have 2 mowers.
At least, like, we have a snowblower now. So, like, I'll use the snowblower, and that's good. But I think the snow might be too heavy for the snowblower right now.
These snow problems that we don't have, I'm kind of jealous.
No, you're not.
I'm a little. That's like when I say in the middle of the summer, I'm like, it's so humid and we have all these mosquitoes, and you're like, yes. And I'm like, no. We could just swap for a week.
I could take a good week. That'd be good.
Yeah, get our fill. You love snow and your husband hates it. Yeah. David likes snow. I feel like he probably doesn't like it as much as I do. And Ollie loves snow. Loves it. He puts on his little sweater. He won't wear booties, but we put on his sweater and he'll go out there and I will have to like go physically pick him up and bring him inside.
I'm now picturing Derek riding that mower to like, you know, like, I think she thinks my tractor's sexy. I can't unsee it.
I'm so sorry, Brie.
I can't unsee it.
I can't click on comments. I'm shaking the computer. That's good. That's good. Your limit is 40. I feel like ours is like 10.
That's a really sad limit.
Just play that section back for him later. That's so funny. I feel like if we had a riding mower, though, I would be more inclined to do the mowing. But the push mower, like, I'm weak sauce. And my legs are like half the length of his. So
my uncle literally just got fake grass. He was like, fuck this.
I wish we had fake grass. That'd be nice.
They have like the smallest pit of grass anyways. Like most of their backyard was like cement. They had like a small area and they live like next to a giant park, like a public park. So their
Mhm.
kids just go play at the park because they also have a nanny.
Yeah.
So their nanny like takes them to the park.
Yeah.
So they were just like, we don't even need grass. So they just put fake grass in and you just vacuum it. Like I'll vacuum grass.
You vacuum grass.
Mm-hmm. And like you can hose it down if it's like dirty.
I was fixing to say, how do you I guess you would just have to hose it down if I like peed on it.
Well, it has like it's actually supposed to be better than if they pee on like regular grass because there's like little holes in it that are very like
Mhm.
porous or
Mhm.
whatever. Like it should just like go through and go like deep into like the ground instead of like in grass where it sits there in the topsoil.
True, true, true.
I learned a lot of things about fake
About
grass.
fake grass. I have saw it in the front yard, but then they did this weird thing where they left the ditch and it's just weeds. So many weeds.
Mm.
I mean, that would be funny. David is a very big country music fan, not the modern stuff. He wants the old stuff,
Old
and
school.
I do not like it. So it's interesting car rides. His favorite thing to do is when we go on this trip next week, on the way to the beach for the 4 hours, he'll be singing country music, he'll watch football games, that kind of stuff. Then on the way home from the beach trip, when we're tired and delirious, he's going to belt out 90s rap
I love 90s rap. Solid.
as loud as he possibly can. I always try to video it for you, and he won't let me. I'm like, I'm just sending it to Cassidy. He's like, no.
Just gotta be sneaky.
I try to do just a little beep, and he always sees me.
No, you gotta just like almost look like you're on your phone and just like you don't need to show me him. I just need to hear him rapping.
Okay. It'll be like, and he'll do stuff like Boys to Men. It's so funny.
So growing up, we do this thing called vacation playlists.
Mhm.
Because of this issue where everyone likes different things. And when your kids are little, like when
Yeah.
I was like 8 or whatever, you don't want to listen to the kids' music the entire time. Like nobody wants to listen to kids' music, but then like you don't want your kids to complain the entire time. So my parents came up with this idea and it was genius. We had like 40 songs each and we like downloaded them, got them however you got music at the time. And then we would relabel them 01 Cassidy, 01 Amber, and then we go like 02 Cassidy, 0
Oh, that's
3.
fun.
And then every fourth song would be your song. And then we had like rules and restrictions mostly because of me. Like you could only have like 2 per artist. They're like, we don't listen to Justin Bieber the entire time. But so like we still do it when we go on road trips because it's just like so much fun because like you're like excited to hear what songs are coming next and what like sometimes we'll be like, oh, for 10 songs we should do like a theme. Like one year I think we did like songs about road trips. And
That's
everyone
cool.
who ever comes onto a road trip with us is like, this is genius. Because like everyone's excited the entire time.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, David always gets to. What's wrong with you?
Gave your computer with a virus with LimeWire. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no way he's letting me video that. Yes, good old LimeWire. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, it was so fun. We still do it when we can.
That's a really good idea. Okay, do we want to do another sprint?
Yes, I guess.
I guess. I kind of want to crochet, but I can't because I'm physically reading.
I'm only crocheting during the talking parts.
Yeah, but I have to click on the comments.
Yeah, you just like crochet and then you click and then you crochet and then you click. I believe in you.
I think this is probably, I don't know if it's too focused for clicking and crocheting and talking all at the same time.
Start a new project.
Don't tempt me. I have many.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like hard to like find. Like it's like I don't know. It's always hard because you're trying to make everyone else happy, and then I feel like no one's happy sometimes.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard. It's hard. And Dave and I like such different music too.
that'd be so hard. Like thankfully, like they
It's
can be like
voice.
very similar music. So
I wish. This is a solid choice. I feel like we can do 80s rock. We both like that, so we can do that. But I'm not a country gal. Hello, happy Thursday. And he is very much so a country guy. So
yeah. Also, it's like really easy with me because I pretty much listen to every type of music. Like my main genre is like pop and rap, but like, and I mean like new rap. I mean also old school rap too, but like, you know, the mumble rappers. I love them. Um, but like I know a lot of country songs. I know a lot of songs from the 80s. Like my parents were very big music people,
Mhm.
so we've listened to music our entire lives. And so like I have no like I have a preference in music, but like
Yeah.
I love all music. Although classical's not really my vibe, but I say that, but then, you know, like the Bridgerton, when they redid like Taylor Swift with the violin and like all those ones, I was like, these are good. I could listen to these.
This is like, "Give me the music." Oh, no, not mumble rap. No, I am not well, maybe city country in accent, but I don't listen to country, period.
I think I get what Rachel's saying. I agree. Took
Speaking
turns.
of music, Piano Man by Billy Joel. I like that one. It's a good
Piano
choice.
Man. Mhm.
Rock stuff, but he's not interested in boy bands. Fair.
Fair.
Fair. What are you doing down there? Making a bunch of weird noises. Okay. Let's do another sprint. Sprinty sprint.
Mhm.
Then you get some of this book read. That button. Okay, see you guys back in 40. Hello. Welcome back. I got... How far did I get? That's upside down. 15%, which is page 54.
Are you back at the house yet?
Mm-hmm.
With the creepy pictures?
I don't think I've seen the pictures yet. She was in their bedroom and then just found her bedroom with the butterflies.
You didn't have like the fridge scene?
Yes.
With the pictures?
Yes. I think so.
Yeah, like that would have had to happen before I think she goes to see the
I thought you meant like pictures on the walls.
No.
And we had the statue thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, effigy is what she called it. That just sounds creepy. 15%.
Thoughts, feelings? Are you liking it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Go to bed.
Don't go to bed.
Okay, no, go to bed. You want to come chat with us live? We'll keep you awake.
I did probably about 10%. Mary's
Nice.
it's just creepy. I like the creepy vibes.
I want to read that one, so definitely let me know what you think.
It's very interesting. I was like literally sitting here. I was like, man, I could read The Weight of Blood and just make a vlog out of it after, but
You really could.
I don't want a vlog.
Yeah, I have not been in the mood to vlog.
The Carrie scenes are just
on point. I can't remember. I know I've seen the new Carrie, but if I watched the old one, it's been a really long time. I need to watch the original one.
I haven't watched the remake yet.
I don't think it was the other way around. I guess it could have been. But no, it was the new one that I've seen.
The one that like just came out.
Mm-hmm. A few years ago.
I want to say it was this year. Maybe last year?
Oh no, then the one that I've seen would have been the second remake then, because it was like 7 or 8 years ago with oh crap, what is her name? Starts with a C. I can't remember her name though. Chloe G something. Somebody help me.
In 2013.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I've seen. Dinner in the crock pot. What is it? Come on, Deb. You're slacking. Nice. It's a Rachel. With that ugly blanket. Yes. Rex Mortez. Thank you.
Oh, that person. I was like,
I'm not crazy. Not today.
This like the author's note talks about like how it's if Carrie didn't have magical powers and Carrie survived the bullying, like what would happen to Carrie as an adult?
Ooh, interesting.
Like if she didn't have the scene in the end of the movie. So it is really cool, I think. It's like a cool take on it. So I called it a reimagining, not a like retelling.
I don't really know much of anything about that except for Kaylee told me one thing that turns into a theme of it, but it's a spoiler, so I can't say it out loud. But it has a theme that I did not know that was relevant to something I was doing in October.
Oh, I know. I was literally going to text you and be like, you should have done this book for that vlog.
I should have, but I didn't know until I was like already moving everything. I was like, dadgummit.
You know what? It's a spoiler, but I think they make it pretty. Like I've known since like
that's cool.
The first page, like
yeah,
20 pages in, that was a thing. So like, I really think it's a spoiler, but it is.
But it technically is. Yeah, Carrie, that's cool.
You were named after Carrie. That's terrifying.
I like it,
but I love it.
Why is this knotted? Oh well. Sometimes you just get random knots in yarn. You're like, I did not put that there. Rachel, how's your book? I don't even remember what you're reading.
Threads of Destiny.
Oh yeah. I thought you probably would have finished that by now, no lie.
It's a 20-hour audiobook.
I mean, you are you.
It's an audiobook. I can only go so fast with an audiobook.
What do you listen to your audiobooks on?
2 times speed.
Oh, you listen slower than I thought you did.
I can't do any faster. It triggers my anxiety.
Fair.
I love Rachel.
And me and Kaylee like Chipmunk. The other day I was listening to Shadow of What Was Lost on Chipmunk combined with Pissed Off Ants.
The only time I've ever put it on 3 times speed was Malazan because
Fair.
I was done.
Fair. I had Shadow on 3.25.
Yeah, if I have to go above probably like 2.5, it probably means I just want to get the book over and done with if I'm not reading along.
Yeah.
Because I do think that, like, although I can comprehend it, I lose some things when I start to go that fast. Like, I'm definitely like, I can still comprehend it, but I'm not hearing like every single word anymore. I'm like letting my brain fill in gaps. So I try to go slower than that for me. But if I'm like Hobbit, that was on like 3.6 speed.
Usually if I do 3, I start at like a 2.5. And then as I become used to the narrator and the story, I can speed it up because things start to sound more natural at that higher speed. And so I can speed it up by the time I'm done with it. But I do have to usually do it in increments.
I wonder if I can convince you to get you guys to read The Queen of Blood.
Probably. It sounded interesting.
It was cool. I don't know if it was YA. There was a lot of massacre for YA.
Who was it by again? Yeah, the Sarah Beth Durst.
Yeah, I just finished it.
Emma and Maria both adore that series. Apparently it starts off as YA but ages up as it goes, and I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It was fun. It was different, so that's why I was just like, I'm having fun. Because it's like the magic wasn't indirect. It's indirect magic system because they're controlling the spirits who control the magic, so.
I actually misspoke. It's not that one that they love. It's the thief one that they
I
love. I have heard good things about that one too.
I also like the thief one.
Can't remember the name of it right now.
The Queen's Thief by Megan Whalen Turner.
Yes, thank you. Can't do audios, you can't focus. That's fair. A lot of people can't do audio, especially audio fantasy. I personally like it.
Yeah, I think
there are
comprehend it. I just can't comprehend it that fast. Like I can. I feel like I'm missing things. Not that everyone misses things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could speed it up, but I haven't been speeding up until this year.
Fair. Oh, you be listening on 1 time speed, I'd die.
Yeah.
I can't. Now, when I started listening to audiobooks, I never did 1, but I started at like 1.25, 1.5 when I very first started. And then over the years, it's just gotten to Pissed Off Ants. So,
yeah, I will say I started listening to audiobooks on tape, like physical tapes. So, yeah, it might be a little ingrained in me by now at that point.
God, but even if you're like on 1 time speed, even a narrator talking is not, it's slower than I'm talking right now. Like I can't.
But not everyone's brain just works that fast. Like it just
true.
And you lose some of the performance elements.
That I will agree with.
And like when you're presenting, you're supposed to talk at a speed that's really slow so people can comprehend.
True.
Like when I was presenting my thesis, I had to present my thesis to my mother because she insisted.
That's funny.
And she was like, slow down. Nope, slower.
Which is hilarious because on BookTube, you would think this, but I talk decently fast because otherwise I think people get bored because our attention span on the internet is so much slower than in person.
Yep. The people that talk slow in their videos, I don't turn them off, but I do speed them up.
100%.
Yeah. But with like when you're presenting, you're supposed to be that slow. So
yeah.
Though I'm
books, it's not as deep as engineering, so I feel like it's okay.
I don't
don't do engineering. When you texted me, I was like, I think your mom thinks I'm engineering. Actual engineering, I'm not actual engineering.
No, I don't. She doesn't, because I didn't know what you did, and I was like, I don't know. I know she worked in something of this nature.
It's fine. It was just funny.
But there's still jobs, I think, for stuff that you do.
Yeah,
her
I
company
was
too.
taking a look. Sleepy.
Yes. Yeah, I remember at least, I don't know if they were cassette tapes, but I remember CDs. Audio CDs and cassettes spoke quicker. Yeah. You watch all your videos on 2 times. Now that I don't do. I will usually watch on regular speed unless it's like I watch my vlogs on regular speed.
I
If
speed
the
up other people.
If
Do
the
what?
audio and the video don't sync, then I have issues.
That's fair. Yeah, I speed up certain people, but most people, especially on vlogs, I leave them at their regular speed.
Yeah, for me, it just depends what I have going on that day and like how many videos were published. Like a day like today where I didn't have a lot out that I wanted to watch, I'll watch everyone at normal speed. But like tomorrow or like Saturdays or whatever day it is that like everyone posts, like the day everyone posts their freaking TBR video, I'm like, I need to watch all these on 2 times speed so I can watch them all today.
I'm so behind. I've got to get caught up. That's a
This is
tomorrow
why you
problem.
2 times speed it.
I'm gonna have to. Like after Supernatural tomorrow, it needs to be a booktube afternoon.
I'm so disappointed because I used to watch. This is gonna sound so nerdy. I used to watch Minecraft videos because basically it's like there's like a role play thing, and I'm so behind on the story. I'm like, there's so many videos to watch.
This would be a feat, Brie. I don't think I'd be able to do this one.
I definitely couldn't. I cut too much stuff out of my videos to do
Me
that.
too.
I would miss things, I think. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much edit my videos on like 0.5 speed.
Yeah. I
So that
just
I
go
can-
through, like I'll watch them and then I have to slow it down and cut back and then come back in and slow it down.
Yeah.
I use my timeline as I put pretty well, I say that. Not all of the ones I do super wide, but a lot of them I will because there's a certain exact point of the word I want to cut, but I talk fast. And so I'm like, all right, we gotta zoom you in. And then my timeline looks like 500 miles long.
I wonder what I sound like in 2 times speed.
Make a video and we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
No, I already have a podcast that has my voice on
Oh,
it.
that's true. That's true. This is true. That's true. Yeah, the audiobook people do, I think, talk slow. And some talk slower than others. And some just have voices that are easier to hear sped up. Guys, I feel like, are a lot easier to understand than women when you speed them up because the tone.
I don't like female narrators most of the time because they don't do male voices well.
Men do female voices horribly most of the time, though. They do that
But
squeaky, one tone, high pitch thing.
It doesn't bother me as much as like the male voices.
You've been taught. That's why that's acceptable
Okay.
by society.
Cassidy's like, "Grr."
It's true though. Like that's something that like we've just dealt with, like the men making fun of female voices. It's just like a thing. But
Yeah.
like you don't see women go around as often to like, oh, I'm talking about what Nick said. I'm gonna lower my voice, but like
Yeah.
a man will automatically higher their voice when they're talking about like what we said.
But it's also easier for them because it's easier for vocal cords to go higher than to go lower.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, but I think Cassidy means it more like a mocking way.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just. I'm too tired to. Philosophy. What's
Philosophy.
Which is too late for philosophy. Yeah, Lauren Graham does speak very quickly, or at least on Gilmore Girls, but they did that on purpose.
I don't know who's my favorite narrator.
I don't either. I don't really have a favorite narrator. I have particular narrators that I like and I recognize, but I don't necessarily have a favorite. I don't care enough to have a favorite.
I don't have either
Like-
of those. I just don't care enough. I'm like, do it well and I'll be okay. Girl, guy, whatever.
Either way, like I will
Don't-
hear a narrator and go, okay, I know that they've narrated another thriller book, but I can't tell you which one or where they're from. I just know that I can hear the association.
Well, I know the there's very few indie narrators. There's because there's like 3 of them that do like indie books. I'm like, I know all 3 of you.
It's funny
Yeah.
though, because I feel like I've had none.
Nope.
Nope. Try that again.
I said I feel like I've had none of that. Anytime I listen to an indie book, it's never one of those 3. And so Rachel always talks about these 3, and I'm just waiting to get to it.
Nope, me either. I've had one audiobook by Travis Baldree, and it was, well, I say that it was his and Unsold. And I don't feel like it counts if it's his.
There's Travis Baldree, Nick Poldy. Poldy. They do it. It might also be the genre indie book I typically get the audiobook for.
Yeah.
Based on the narrator.
Interesting. I don't know narrators well enough to buy based on narrators.
I mean, if you think about it, like any narrator does have their like type. Like the ones that I could really pay attention to, like Mike Kramer, he does the exact, well, not the exact same, but he does a lot of that genre, so I like pick them up because it's the genre I like. And then like the Ruth Ware narrator is very like apparent to me because she does all of her books.
Yeah, and then she does a random Blood of the Chosen and Ash.
I would like that though, because like I think it would be better for a narrator to go against genres than like Michael, where like now I can associate, like as we said in Shadow of What Was Lost, like he has very specific voices for types of characters, so I could already associate who that character was going to be based on the voice he used for them, because I've listened to so many of the books he's done. Versus if he now went into thriller, I'd be like, oh, what?
Then he's also
listened to. Oh, sorry, Rachel. Go ahead.
Then he's also narrated Grace of Kings.
I was about to say that,
which is like
to that
so
too.
different.
Yeah,
that's different.
I think it's different enough that I don't know that it would have the same archetypes as easily identified. But I don't know enough about it to know that for sure.
Still high epic fantasy.
Yeah, but I feel like Wheel of Time and Shadow of What Was Lost and Sanderson, they have a very formulaic start.
And very generic, where it's very generic fantasy.
With him with epic fantasy.
Right. That's fair. Because at fast speed. Hey, you do whatever you need to do. There is no right or wrong speed.
Because Grace of Kings is very historical fantasy, even though it's not really set in.
Like so.
Is every fantasy
all the other 3 that we just talked about?
Maybe it's not as. I don't know. I need to read Grace of Kings because I feel like everybody talks about it and I don't know what's what, and I need to know what's what.
I know Wheel of Time is technically the future, but it's set in a way that makes it historical.
No, what I mean by historical is it's based off of historical events that happened in China.
Yes. But it has the historical setting that the rest of those fantasies have. It's just a real historical fantasy versus.
Yeah, because it's like kind of like the Poppy War, where it like takes elements from that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like I get what Cassidy's saying, where the overall like thought process behind the setting is still similar in high fantasy.
Yeah,
like that more historical, not having phones, that kind of thing.
I mean,
they're all historical settings. One's just actually based on like history versus the other ones are reimaginings of the history.
Right.
I do know the second book of Way of Kings, Grace of Kings, has dragons.
Interesting.
I mean, I assumed because of the UK covers.
The covers. This is so pretty.
Assumed. I was like, making an assumption other people didn't make. Am I seeing dragons where there's none?
No, there's dragons.
Well, I forgot because I only remember the mechanical narwhal.
Mm-hmm. Curious.
That's just an interesting part of the story where they just have a submarine whale.
I need to read that series.
No, because Poppy War, She Who Became the Sun and Grace Kings, which all do this. I don't think are alternate history.
They're actual
That's what
history.
she's saying,
Yeah.
like,
Because like that's what I call like historical fantasy, where it's taking historical events and putting it into a fantasy setting.
I
I
wonder
don't
if
know.
there's a real title for this. Because like alternate history, I think would be like Babel.
yeah.
Where
Where it's like changing the timeline, where like the Poppy War is just putting exactly what happened in history into a fantastical setting.
Right.
Yeah. Alt history, like I did that for that one, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
I still haven't read that. I think I'll probably watch the show and skip the book.
I would just, the only thing that's good is the cliff, not the cliff. There's like footnotes that are
Mhm.
interesting and add to the story. Just watch the show and read the notes. You're good.
Exciting.
I guess maybe. It just says alternate histories are genre fiction consisting of stories that are set in worlds in which histories diverge from the actual history of the world.
So if they used real historical events, it wouldn't be alternate history, though. It would just be historically inspired. I don't know. I have not read it, but I've heard a lot of people enjoy it and a lot of people not enjoy it. So
It's very particular if you like, it's slow and character driven.
Doesn't it have a peculiar writing style too, or am I making that up?
From what I've listened to, it didn't.
Okay, maybe I'm making that up.
But I don't think Maria liked the writing style.
Maybe
and
that's why I did that.
I think you are thinking, I think Rachel's right. Like technically, like the Poppy War and stuff probably would be historical fantasy, but when she said it, I thought historical like setting. So I think like what you're thinking of alternate history is historical fantasy. Alternate history is like changing history in a fantastical setting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although like technically Babel would be like doesn't actually change history at all.
No.
It would be a
like
historical
fantasy.
Which is why I felt like it wasn't alternate. That's why I said it was literally just historical fiction. Because it follows our history. It's just it has just added something into it though. I guess it would be. I don't know. My brain is hard.
I don't know that I would consider City of Brass historical at all. Like I get that it is, but it's not enough.
It's mythology based, but it's not historical.
Yeah.
Only when they go back to Cairo a bit.
But even still, there's not like historical events that are surrounding the story or a particular setting in time that inspired it. So I don't know. I think I would classify it more as mythology based than historical. But I can see why you would think it would be historical.
Yeah. A Master of Jinn is alt history because it takes place in 1920s Cairo.
Oh, I still need to read that one. I have it, and I've read the prequel short story.
It's really good, except I predicted the mystery, and I was like,
that's okay. Sometimes that's okay.
I took points off because I'm like, I wasn't trying to figure out your mystery.
That doesn't always bother me though, because I feel like sometimes things can be convoluted with too many red herrings to the point where it's poor writing. Like you still need to be able to make a story make sense logically, and sometimes that leads to predictability.
I have agreed with that. Like in The House Across the Pond, there's just red herrings that were just created to be a red herring, but like the story didn't make sense, and then you obviously knew it wasn't them.
Yep.
I haven't read this one, so that's why I'm trying to relate.
No, I agree with you. I have not read this either, but I've heard it's good. Good night.
I've watched one episode because my dad was watching. Sorry.
Yeah. I think Timur would be alternate history as well, because it takes like that idea and adds dragons, which obviously there weren't, which there should have been.
That makes sense because it's alternate history because it actually is the history that happened. They just added in magical elements.
It does get cool because it like
and then they change, right?
And they do what now?
Do they change it? Because I guess this is what we're saying. We just agreed to
I
it.
don't think so. I think it follows the outcome of the Napoleon Wars.
Because then they want it to be historical by what we just said earlier. I don't know. This is really hard.
It would be all history because it's set on Earth, but it does not follow the exact history because like there's no colonization of Africa due to Africa having dragons. They go to South America, which really and like talk to the like Incan Empire and stuff like that. And
okay, so they
Napoleon
they do change things that happened.
Yeah, because it's like the logical progression of if there were dragons forever, what would happen to the world? Would everything happen the same?
Yes. So like Babel, I feel like doesn't classify as this because they just add magic in. And Leanne's library says this, like the magic doesn't affect any of the history of the world. Like our world happens exactly the same. Everything happens the same regardless. It's just that magic was added in.
So it's more historical fantasy.
Yeah.
Got it.
Right? Like I think
I
feel like I'm finally grasping the two differences. I could be wrong.
I follow your thought process.
I would, because it doesn't change anything, so there's not alternate blah blah blah.
Like nothing changes in it besides that there's magic.
But like I would still classify like Poppy War as historical fantasy, but it's set in a secondary world.
Okay.
Just because it's so very much the Sino-Russian War.
And yes, the Hippo book would be alternate history.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of?
Yeah, I think so.
Arguments about niche subgenres of fantasy.
Yeah, I definitely feel like Hippo book
head around them to understand them all in like a brief way, but like sometimes it's so hard.
Well, also like there's high fantasy and low fantasy. I'm like, I don't know the difference between the two of you. You just exist.
High fantasy is technically, I think, something that is set on a magical made-up world, whereas low fantasy is set on our world.
Mm-hmm. Technically, but I use it as a much more extreme of like hard versus soft and
Though, I think that
technically
high, epic, hard.
Yeah,
like, there's so many different words to just niche things down a little bit more.
Yep, agreed.
Well,
or do you have like paranormal, urban? It's a mess. It's a mess.
Well, there's paranormal, urban, military, grimdark. Grimdark is a pain to classify.
Well, because there's dark and then there's grimdark.
Well,
grimdark terrain is not a terrain that I have the brain power for.
People said dark is not dark enough for us. Let's make a grimdark.
Well,
I like your hopeless take on the grimdark. I think that is very accurate. Another thing that people characterize grimdark a lot is completely morally gray characters, and we're not talking like you can understand their motivations, but sometimes they do the wrong thing. We're talking they do the wrong thing and they wholeheartedly believe they should be doing it. That
one makes it confusing because I think you can understand someone's motivations for doing the wrong
most things.
Like I understand everything that Prince Jorg does in Prince of Thorns. Doesn't mean they're right.
It doesn't, and
but I also like a not necessarily an understanding, but like when the character does the wrong thing and they're not even questioning whether or not it's the wrong thing or the right thing. They just do not care.
Oh, well, Jorg doesn't care.
That's my point, though. He would be considered a morally black character. I don't even think it would be a gray character.
This is interesting, though, because like Blackstone Heart, which is like the indie everyone says is grimdark, is not like our character is questioning everything he does the entire time.
True. That's why I think it's so broad, though, because different people, like, that's just, to me, one characterization that I've heard, not necessarily what I characterize grimdark as. It's just one of the characterizations I know people use.
I know, it's so hard.
It's so hard. I tend to lean more on the hopeless tone side of things than the morally gray side of things, because I feel like morally gray is so much harder to define.
Like, Malazan is more grimdark because they're very hopeless and, like, meh.
People yell at Mal. I've never read it, so I have no idea. Like, I know so many people, like, yell at it for not being grimdark. Honestly, there's just no pleasing everyone. With grimdark is one of those that I think there'll be no definite answer, but I feel like alternate history versus historical fantasy. I had
It has
a good
definition.
definition gone now.
we puzzled that out. Now what's science fiction and what's science fantasy?
For sure. I like this comment, Brie. That makes sense. It's not exactly how I was thinking, but it makes sense. It's just confusing. It's all so confusing.
This does make sense.
I will say I don't like it when like if you add magic to something and you don't change anything. I'm like, come on.
If you added magic, it would change.
Leanne's library says that about Babel. She's just like, how did it not affect anything in our world? Like, how does everything happen the exact same, but we've added in this magical element that can do these things? Like, it makes no sense.
Because theoretically, that's not possible. If you change even one minor decision, that's the whole time travel argument. If you change even one little thing, the whole scope unravels. Well, the same concept applies to adding magic. There's no way it couldn't have an effect.
Yep.
Because it's no longer the same history. It's completely different history now.
You know what? Like, at least in She Who Shall Not Be Named story, they kind of like separated the two. So like, then our history can happen the same, if that makes sense.
Why did I think you were going to say She Who Became the Sun?
I did too there for a second. I was like, my brain had to catch up.
I did talk about that book earlier, so it makes sense.
I was very confused.
But like Jade War, I know it's not your favorite. Or not Jade War. Jade's like the Greenbone saga. That's also kind of historical feeling.
I don't know enough about it to say if is it based on like history?
She said she didn't base it on history. It was more
like because it has a historical setting, kind of, but not really because it's also modern elsewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think that one was based off of any like historical events.
It was based off of Kung Fu movies, I think, from what I remember she's saying.
She has a white belt. Fun fact.
Should we sprint?
We should.
No.
Because otherwise we're just going to deep dive into this and my brain is hurting.
We said we were going to do this like off of reading sprints is what we said we were going to do.
Like, the chat is like, y'all are going to go in circles for hours. We're just
the chat's like, shut up and let me come back with a new conversation.
I don't know. I just get like, what is the definition of this?
I want to really like. I don't like this. I want it to be this, and I need to know.
Do you want me to send you a new article I found on definition of progression fantasy?
No. Stop this spiral before it goes too far. No, we love it. We have spiraled once again.
You never had all of these conversations before, though. Like, that's the saddest thing is that like we've had this entire discussion before and we've never come to a complete answer, so we do it again.
Yes, but I swear the alt history and history is different because I don't think we've had that already.
This one is new, but Grimgar progression. Just sprint, please. I have my book. Bye, sprint.
Hello, friends.
You shouldn't let me on couches when I sprint.
Hmm?
You shouldn't let me on couches or soft things when I sprint.
But you didn't fall asleep this time, so we're good.
I was going to say, did you sleep a little?
I was aimlessly scrolling the TikToks. I don't remember what I watched.
Fair.
I'm scrolling Cassidy's Twitter post.
My Twitter post.
Mm-hmm. About the fantasy Rex or whatever.
Huh?
Didn't you do a... Yeah. Looking for to do some fantasy book shopping.
That is so
Oh, that was a
old.
long time ago.
I'm so confused.
Somebody must have responded to it or retweeted it because it just popped up like just now. And I didn't see it when you originally posted it.
Really old. I never did anything in the end. That I meant to.
Oh, sorry.
I saw you like it. Oh, GM White retweeted it.
It was like it literally just popped up.
Yeah, that's September 26th.
Yeah, I saw that once you said it. I was like, oh, that was like 6 weeks ago. Great.
I was so confused what you were talking about. I was like, did someone hack my Twitter?
No, it's just a while ago. I got to page 88.
Solid. I read 2 chapters of Mary. I did a lot this one. I read 2 chapters of Mary, and then I went and opened my mail packages. So there's an unboxing on Instagram. And then I took pictures of all the SBFBO finalists on their shelves because, pretty. But then this one arrived. So then I sat here and stared very angrily at these because the circles don't line up at tops. And
they don't.
Really be angry. Like the bottoms line up. Why not just make the tops line up?
Yep.
I had a fun question of SBSBO. Which one do you think I would like the best after you finish that sentence?
I actually think you're going to really enjoy the 13th hour.
I'm broken.
Did you forget the books?
No, I don't know that much about them. I'm gonna guess the Umbral Storm.
I'm excited about that one.
I'm also excited.
I have mine ranked, and I'm ready.
You saw it.
Yeah, and then I didn't read really any of this. I did a brief, not this one. This one.
I was like, are you gonna reread something?
I did a brief. Do I remember what happened in these 100 pages I read? Yep, I think so. And I read 3 pages of where that is.
I mean, you can also do the unethical thing and just read the synopsis of book 3 and read book 3.
No, it's not the same. But I don't think I need to reread those first 100 pages. I do think I remember pretty much where we got. Like, it was just set up to get us places. So
yeah.
But then the 3 pages I read, I forgot how intense the writing style is to get into.
It is. That's why I always listen.
I don't think I could listen. I would not understand enough. I think it would be like when I listened to the Black Sun and it confused me.
Fair.
See,
I like the narrator.
I want a glossary. I want a glossary because I forget what the accents means.
Yes, this was very helpful in the first one. I always had to flip back to the first page or whatever. Or I'd have it open on my Kindle. Because actually I don't know if this has the glossary, but on the Kindle it did, I think.
Rachel, you said there is a what happened in the beginning of Godbreaker, right? Because I remember literally nothing from the Splinter King. Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because it's one of those it did not stick with me at all. I remember Black Coast very well, but I don't remember Splinter King.
Daryl went to the Capitol and did things.
Daryl went to the Capitol and did things.
I do vaguely remember this. Vaguely.
I don't remember
the
assassination
thing. That's maybe too vague for my memory.
just not gonna say anything then.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. And the first 100 page.
Yeah, it's in the first 100 pages. It's like the opening scenes.
Put it in the private chat because I'm confused.
Are you talking about old game?
Yay! We love book mail. Whoop whoop. I need to know what's going on here. When you say it, I'm probably gonna be like, oh. Yeah. I thought that was in Black Coast.
Oh yeah. That is
Yeah.
in Black Ghost though.
Well, like it happens, but like it's like the repercussions of it in the first 100
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
That's the part I choose not to remember.
I'm prepared to have very different feelings than you guys on this book.
You might.
Oh.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
I was just, as a general rule, bored by it, but I also was not in the mood to read it when I read it, so that could have contributed to this.
I just think I'm more intrigued by other POVs than you guys are.
I didn't mind the kids' POVs.
I just don't know the purpose behind them.
Interesting. I feel like I already have a purpose for them, but maybe I'll lose it as the book continues. But I think what will happen is my predictions is I'll like this book better than you guys, but you guys will like the last book better than me because I think it's going to focus on the part that I don't care about as much that I know Mel has already told me was like the most intriguing part for her. Like one of
we're in the perfect circle right now. You've read book 1, you've read book 2, and I've read book 3.
Rachel's already read book 3. I think I'll probably fall somewhere in the middle between the two of you. I usually do. Whereas I didn't mind the characters that Rachel doesn't like at all. Don't bother me. Like enjoyment wise, I think I'll fall somewhere like in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, wasn't really what I was saying, but yeah, I get that.
No, I know what you mean. I know what part you're talking about.
Like I just was thinking that like you guys will prefer Godbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
I'll prefer this one.
I think Black Coast, Godbreakers, Leonard King is my order.
Obviously, I think we're all gonna prefer this one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Maria ever finished Godbreaker. She never told me.
She did not. Not yet. I hope I really enjoy Godbreaker because Splinter King was just meh. Like it was just a 3-star. It was fine.
I have feelings about the ending, but you might also have feelings about the ending.
I'm curious. I'm excited to get to it.
I don't want to say anything because it's a massive spoiler, but
I don't want it.
No, don't tell me. I think
that's why
might have had a little disservice to reading it close to Godbreaker, or not Godbreaker, Black Coast, because Black Coast did things very differently and in mostly a strong way. That the novelty probably wore off a little bit by the time I got to Splinter King.
I keep saying this, but this novel just needed to be the Damien and Sana novel.
I do like them.
I really like the addition of politics and stuff that's happening so far in this one. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. I just felt like it's the small scale, like inner politics of the small like island was kind of cool. Not island, but
it was in the Black Coast, but
I do like the scope expanding a little.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is a confusing style because the cultures are all so vivid, but they're so unlike what we're used to that it can be a little jarring, but they're very vivid and I appreciated that. And that is one thing you do lose in the audio that I will say is one particular culture uses certain what are they called?
Accents.
Yeah. Certain accents that you lose.
They're not called that, but I forget.
Yeah.
I always want to call them accent AQs and stuff.
Yes.
So like
but you lose those in audio. Which can be good if you're listening and reading together because my brain like stalls when I see that because it's not familiar to me. Whereas in audio, you kind of hear it and get used to it. But if you don't do both, you do lose that part.
Yeah, it is the thing where I was like, I also don't know if I could do the audio because I actually sit there all the time and I'm like, okay, I need to know which person this is, like which this way goes.
And how they're identifying in the moment.
Yeah, because I find that so interesting about this world.
Agreed.
That's why I want like a glossary in the background to mark the accents, because I'm like, I'm not gonna remember all 9 of these.
Yeah, there are a lot.
I swear, because Black Coast doesn't have one, but I swear it does in the Kindle version.
Because it's only in the, like that story bit, and I don't want to go back all the way to book 1 to find that story, and it's like it's not even like on a normal page.
Right. Had to come into the bedroom because Ollie was getting very cranky. Not as polished of a sprint setup. Sorry, guys.
I'm on a couch.
Yeah, but like I've got you propped on a pillow, which is very wobbly.
That's what I do in my bedroom all the time.
Yeah, but your camera doesn't wobble nearly as much as I feel like mine does. Let's have a productive sprint because that was the last one. We're gonna talk for a minute and then I have to go to bed because I do have to work tomorrow. Today is not Saturday, contrary to my sad belief.
I want it to be Saturday.
It's felt like Saturday all day because I did nothing. Well, errands and then nothing. Does the author have one on their webpage, maybe? I don't know if they do.
Apparently, the author lives in Ipswich with Jade.
Did not know that.
I was talking.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see where that would be a spoiler for later books if you went and looked at stuff and you hadn't had characters introduced yet.
I always read the glossaries, and I always get spoiled for something, and I'm like, I'd rather read the glossary, though.
I don't read glossaries ever, so, like, it doesn't matter if a book has one or not. People are always like, I wish I had a glossary, and I'm just like, it'll have a glossary, and my brain just goes, it's fine. I can be confused. Don't look it up.
I never look at glossaries.
And at some point, I think that, like, if I continue to be confused the entire book, it is the author's fault.
Yeah.
Like, I know that might be unpopular opinion there, but like,
no,
I shouldn't have to look at a glossary to understand your book.
I do that with words, but with this one, with the accents, I would prefer a glossary just because you can't context. Yes. It's very hard to.
There is no context there. Like, it's not like definitions. That's just like helping your brain. I probably wouldn't. I don't know if I would look at it in the end, but also I just can't bring myself to flip back and forth.
Oh yeah, no, me neither.
Well,
sometimes I'll go and look for like a specific thing, or to remind myself about something, but I can't flip back and forth constantly.
Honestly, I just need it once per book, so I remember it.
Yeah. Sadly, that was our last sprint because I have to go to work tomorrow.
I might like on my channel.
So there you go.
I haven't decided yet, but it's early.
It's not, though.
It's 10. It's my bedtime.
It's 9 for me. Like, it's early.
But like Tide Child, that had a glossary, and I'm a like fantasy reader, and I was having a hard time with that language.
Yeah.
I didn't really, but language isn't one of those things that ever I find like very hard. But I know some people struggle with, so I get the point of having a glossary, like for those people that want it. But it's just like not something I look for.
Yeah.
I also like math.
Sorry. I'm at that weird point for all these people wanting more sprints where like now is fine. I could do another sprint, but by the time we do another sprint and then talk longer than I meant to, then it's way past my bedtime and I regret my choices the next day.
Yeah. I'm gonna go do my channel depending on how long we chat behind, but
yeah,
I think
I did like
people that are
like
trying to come.
I did like waking up this morning with a bunch of random texts and Rachel can fix this when she wakes up. I'm like,
You probably had like 30 texts to go, and then we weren't even actually talking about the question. That was all in Discord, so you had literally no context, none.
I'm like, what is Rachel answering? I am now awake, but now you're both asleep because it's too early.
The thing is, there wasn't even really a question because I knew how it worked. I just thought it was stupid. And then everyone, I think, thought I didn't know how it worked. And I was like, no, this isn't what I'm saying. I just think it's
dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Because why
It's
do
a
it
plot.
this way?
It's a plot device to
I
make
don't
that
like
character important.
Don't like it.
I also don't accept that that character's name is spelled that way because no.
I agree. It's a weird way to spell it, but
I am jealous of this, Melissa. Does that mean you're coming to Supernatural tomorrow? Please come. You should. Please do more sprints. 38 pages. Yeah, you do need more sprints.
this is why sprinting, we used to sprint on my channel a lot more, I realized, because I would stay up later. And so you guys could just leave.
I like hosting sometimes, but yeah, it's better for me to host, which Thursday nights usually are fine. Or like Fridays. But Fridays we get to see. So
I do like sometimes I'm in my bed and I just see Cassidy sprinting. I'm like, what are you doing? It's
I got one of those notifications the other day and I was like asleep and it was 10:45 when you started the sprints.
I know, I joined those. And Cassidy's like, what are you doing here? Go to bed.
Like, this is when I do my like prime reading and stuff. It's like from now until midnight. Like I don't go to bed till like 3 a.m.
I
4.
wish I didn't have to. I wish I could stay up and read until at least like midnight or 1.
I just don't like sleeping. Like, I wake up pretty early still. I mean, I don't wake up to an alarm, but like I still wake up around like 8:30. But
I don't work in a job where I can afford to be sleepy, unfortunately.
I don't feel sleepy. That's the thing. I just don't
good.
like to sleep, and I don't need it. Like, my whole family is this way. Like, none of us sleep.
I wish I didn't need sleep, but I need about 7 hours and I'm good.
I was talking to my parents and I was like, I refuse to go to bed at 8 p.m. even though I wake up at a time where to get like a full night of sleep, I would need to go to bed at 8 p.m. I'm like, I refuse. I am not that old.
Mm-hmm. It used to drive Nick up a wall because like he'd be like, it's fucking midnight and you're like, let's start a movie, and I'm like, I'm not gonna sleep.
I wish that I didn't have to sleep. I have trained myself better because I used to go to bed way earlier just because it was just me and I was bored and I was like, well, I guess I'll just go to bed because there's nothing else really going on for me to do. And then I trained myself to not go to bed as early. But I still have to be functional.
I used to be nocturnal because my job was 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
This is
just like I'm always in.
Part of my problem. Like, it all, like, bartending, it just, like, I never grew out of the habit of being up till, like, 4 a.m. And then, like, when, as I said to Rachel the other, like, literally today, I was like, I had 8 a.m. classes. I didn't go to a lot of them, but, working full-time in a bar and then getting up for school, if I had to get up for school, you just, I don't know, I just
acclimate. Ooh, what did you think?
I will say I took a chemistry test on 30 minutes of sleep once.
Nice.
I got
I'm
an
not
A.
one of those people that can afford to not sleep at all. I've done it a couple of times when I was working night shift in the ER. And the way that they did our schedule, you would be like days and then have one day off and then immediately go into nights the next day. And it's nearly impossible to do and sleep. And I got so sick. Like I ended up with the flu the next day and I missed the rest of the night shifts because I had the flu.
Yeah. See, my sister works 2 days on, 2 nights on. So she works from like 5 to 5, like 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. for 2 days. And then she works from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. 2 days. And she just switches back and then she has 4 days off and then she does it again and again and again.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Like she'll sleep like 4 hours and like from 5, she'll sleep from 5, she'll get home 6 a.m., watch TV and then get up at like 11 when like, that's I don't know. It's just a thing. None of us like sleep.
That is crazy. I
You
think
do
my
live
problem too was I was trying to get home immediately after work and go to sleep because I knew that I wouldn't immediately go to sleep. But then I didn't give my brain time to like get out of work mode, and so I was just laying there thinking about everything.
Some people need sleep though. Like if we like go on road trips or anything and we have to get up really early in the morning, I'm the one who drives even if I stayed up later because I can run off of 3 hours of sleep and still be like very, very functional. Where like Nick cannot unless he has like a full night's sleep. He will not be functional at all. Like, and I mean, I do have catch up days. Like there are some nights where I just sleep because like I needed it. But
yeah. I don't sleep. On Saturdays, I wake up at like noon because I'm catching up on all the sleep I'm missing. But I also have anxiety, which means I can't sleep sometimes.
Here, my mom's an insomniac, and she used to she'd probably kill me if she knew I told the story all the time. But she used to take Ambien to sleep, and there was one day she actually tolerated it really, really well. But there were 2 different instances that I can remember of her taking that. One was she got up and went to my brother's room on a non-school night at like 8:30 at night when she had already gone to bed and screamed at him and told him he was up too late and needed to go to bed. And he's just sitting there like, and the next morning he was like, "Mom, do you not remember?" And she's like, "No, I have no clue." And then she also bought a blender, and she didn't even know she bought it until it showed up on the front porch. I'm like, well, yay, insomniacs. Sleep about 4 or 5 hours and you're just fine.
Yeah, it's all different. As like it said above, like everyone's is different. You have to remember too that isn't an average. The 8 hours a night, and averages are skewed too. So
oh yeah.
Well, it's more about waking up at the appropriate time. Because if you wake up in the middle of like REM sleep? I'm too tired to do biology. You're gonna be like
function pretty well if I don't do it too many nights in a row. I can function off of like 5 hours or so pretty easily. I did that the other day when we stayed up too late. But typically I need consistently about 7 hours. I can do it on way less than that if I have to.
Oh yeah.
6 to 7.
I think it does help that I don't have to wake up to an alarm because it is that like I wake up when my body's ready to wake up. I mean, normally it's pretty early, but like I'm not waking up in one of those parts of deep sleep.
Right.
But also if I get too much sleep, I get like really like dizzy and stuff.
I am the grumpiest. Like if I slept really, really long, don't come near me that day.
Grumpy and just I'm so tired all day when I sleep too long.
Same.
We have a 10 hours. Yeah,
that's the thing is I recently converted Nick over to the sleep is for the week because of that exact thinking. I was like, think about all the time we waste sleeping.
It's true though. Think of how many more sprints I could do if I didn't have to go to bed.
Well, theoretically, it's not wasted because biologically your body is learning. And
don't be reasonable.
Listen, I have a biology degree. I should probably use it at some point in my life.
It feels like wasted time.
When it's like,
I mean, technically, so is showering, but you know.
So is eating.
True.
No, showering is not a waste of time because I can think in it. Like,
true.
I can do all of these things and multitask. At least when I'm pooping, I can still be on my phone doing things. I can still read while I poop. But while I'm sleeping, I can't do shit.
Please don't pull a Gavin and take us to the toilet.
Well, then you can dream and you can get ideas from dreams. I've gotten a story idea from dreams before.
I do fucked up. Nobody needs them.
Okay, my dreams are weird. I think you guys have invaded my dreams, but you also might just been on a video that are listening that I fall asleep.
Fair.
This is fair.
I was in Cassidy's dream once because she left me on it.
I wake up. It's actually really funny. The number one person I wake up to because I leave BookTube on while I sleep most of the time is Olivia. My
Yeah.
TV loves to watch Olivia's vlogs in the middle of the night. I just wake up and I'm like, oh, Olivia's on again. And then I'll turn her off. I'll go to like a different person, watch something. I'll be watching like romance BookTube, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Olivia's back on. Like,
She's got such long vlogs too.
I think so.
I always end up on these weird like 3-hour streams of something. I'm like, what am I?
I also watched Kayla's horror one, Goodreads Choice Words Horror, all of the time while I'm sleeping. So I always, because in the morning I'll like go and I'll see like recently watched to see like what it put on for me, and I'm like, yeah, I watched that video again for the 5th night in a row.
I cannot watch TV and sleep, but David loves to. Like, he falls asleep to TV, but I will watch it. Like, I will not sleep. I will just lay there and watch TV, and then sometimes I'll fall asleep like 3 or 4 hours later, but for the most part, I will just watch it. Like, I will not go to bed.
Well, I don't watch
He
TV.
will be snoring. He'll leave it on, insist that he can't put a sleep timer on because he's watching it. 20 minutes later, he's snoring, and I have to get up to go find the remote and turn it off because he didn't give me the remote in the first place.
With mine, I just put it on my phone and I put it under my pillow, so I'm not watching it. I'm just listening to it.
I can't do
So
that either. I focus. But I'll fall asleep during audiobooks. Like, what the heck? The priorities, brain.
I used to get yelled at so many times because I fell asleep during audiobooks before there was a sleep function on audio.
Even if there is, though, I'm like, I don't want to listen to audiobooks when I could fall asleep, because how do you find your place? Even if you put a sleep timer on, like, how do you find your place?
You have to put them on. That's the only time I listen to an audiobook at 1x speed, so that I can literally just go back to the 30 minutes, because I probably fell asleep right away.
Yeah, tons of people have to have sound asleep. That is so very normal. I'm just not one of them. I have a box fan. Like, I cannot sleep to silence because then I'll hear every little bump and be like, who's that? But if it has to be white noise.
I lied to everyone. I will not be doing another sprint because I realized the new episode of Winter House came out tonight, and I want to go watch that.
New episode of what?
Winter House.
What's that?
Oh, great shitty TV. It's a reality TV show where these other Bravo stars, they all go into a house for like 3 weeks together, and they just get drunk and party the entire time, and there's just so much drama, and it's so good. There's a thing called Summer House, and it's like the spin-off of Summer House, but Summer House is all the rich Charleston people. No, that's the Charleston is Southern Charm. It's all the rich people in New York who then go every single weekend to like a beach house in the summer that they all rent together for 2 months straight. And they do the same thing, but just like for 2 days out of the week all the time. Where Winter House, they go like to a winter vacation.
Like South Carolina, Charleston?
That would be Southern Charm, but yeah, that is.
Oh.
And so Winter House has some of the people from Summer House and Southern Charm, and Southern Charm is just like watching the rich trust fund babies of Charleston.
Oh, I love the
trust fund stuff.
I used to live really close to Charleston.
I've always wanted to go.
There's one nice street. It also always floods.
The food is supposed to be really good.
Y'all talk. I gotta call David back because I literally realized it was 10:15.
We can just hang up.
Either I gotta go or y'all keep talking and I'll mute me. But normally I would have called him an hour and a half ago, and I just realized exactly what time it was.
It don't matter to me.
So y'all talk. I'll call him, and then we'll get off in a minute.
Okay.
I don't know what to say now. I'm just gonna watch Mel talk. This is like the one time Jade called her mom on Sprint.
Don't do that.
And we just pretended that we were I don't know who I was with. We just pretended that we were Jade's mom replying to Jade's things.
We could talk about the new cover for King of Thorns.
The 10th anniversary?
Yeah.
I am really excited for Broken Binding to do that.
Yeah, well, and then we all know what series we both want, and that's especially
it's gonna come now, 2027. I think 10-year is when Mark Lawrence will do it.
Well, he's hinted that he's gonna release the omnibus through Grim Oak soon.
I would maybe get the omnibus if it was pretty.
They're okay. But well, the Grim Oak is also doing a Malice special edition.
I'm not the biggest special edition hoe. Like, I'm not that person, but like the Prince of Thorns ones were just so pretty.
I mean, I don't have many, but
You're picking, yeah, you like good ones, I think. You have some good ones.
I have Prince of Thorns, and then I have the Greenbone Saga.
The Greenbone Saga ones are so pretty, though. I actually wish that more of them just came without dust jackets. Like, I love that style. But I think I'm a very unpopular opinion there.
It depends. I like color, though, sometimes, like contrasting color. Because the Greenbone Saga, the contrast is not there for me.
The thing with the Greenbone Saga is, like, the 3 shades are, they don't go, like, they go well together, but they don't go well together all at once.
Yeah. Though I'm excited. I know you're not. I'm excited for, what is it? A Sword of Kaigen.
I know. I hope that you'll have to send an unboxing when you get it, though, because I do want to see it in person. I get why people like it. I just think the original cover was prettier.
I mean, I already own the original. I just wanted the special edition. I paid way too much money for it, but I mean, they already unlocked all the add-ons already.
That's insane. So quick. Yeah, in the comments, does anyone have like a favorite special edition ever done? Since I saw Nikki saying it would have to be something I really, really liked. I'm kind of the same. Like, I'm super picky, and it had to be a book. Like, the only real one I own is Prince of Thorns, and it was a book I was 99% sure I was gonna love. Like, I didn't get the Greenbone Saga because I was too scared that I wouldn't like it.
I mean, like, I can give you, like, if you end up liking Greenbone Saga more than me, I could ship you Greenbone Saga since I own it.
Taking your special edition that you paid so beautifully Amel for. Like, I know I'd pay for you for it, but like, you got it. It's yours.
Okay. I did get it on the day that I interviewed finally.
See, memories connected to it. Oh my gosh, the comments. I understand special editions. Why so expensive? You know what? I don't truly think they're expensive considering the production, the rights to do it,
paying the artists.
Yeah, paying any artist. Like, I do think that a lot more goes into them than like what we process in our brains. Like, we just see, oh, pretty book. Why are you so expensive? And we don't like think about like everything else.
Well, it's also like shipping. Why you so expensive?
Shipping. Why you so expensive is the one that gets me. Waterstones Wolf Song. I think I do remember this one.
Yeah, I'm jealous of Waterstones. I want pretty editions that I can just buy in a bookstore and don't have to pay.
All of these are Waterstones. That's interesting. Final Girl Support Group Waterstones edition with a signature. I did see the Grady Hendrix special edition on Broken Binding. It's literally just a sprayed edge, so I didn't get it. Like, I didn't even think about getting it, but I was like,
well, there's a Spiffbo one special edition Broken Bindings. I don't know if it's special edition, but
yes. No, I don't think it's a special edition at all. I think it's just
featured book.
It may be signed, yeah. I am excited for the Of Blood and Fire one. I think I will get it.
I want to, but there's only 1,500 copies.
Tight. It's going to be a tight race.
We might be, hey guys, can you pay for me and ship it to me? Or ship it to, can you just buy me a copy? I'll pay you back.
The thing with the markup thing is like, they can do it for a reason. Like, it sucks and people shouldn't do it, but people buy them. Like, it's insane to me that people will buy a marked up special edition for like $500. Like, I could never. I don't care how much I love that book. I could never.
I mean, like, there is the omnibus for the Broken Empire, which is now, it used to be 100. It was sold for $100. Now it's like a zillion because they're out of copies. So I'm like, only reason I want to buy it because it's like completing, because I have the Reds Queens War omnibus.
Mhm.
So I would want like all three.
Yeah, to complete it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
if you think about it, like a special edition truly is that. Like, it may only be worth this much now, but it could be worth so much more money in the future.
It's the Beanie Babies of the book world.
Yeah, like, so
Hi.
What special edition rant have we gone off on?
we're just
we're
talking about people's favorites, and then we are talking about like marking up and
Oh
why.
yeah.
I was talking about like since me and Cassidy don't really own that many special editions comparatively.
I own
Yeah.
one. Unless you're counting like I own the illustrated editions of The Lord of the Rings, and then like this is technically illustrated, but it's just like
Yeah.
it's not special at all. Like they just print those. They're
Like,
so
I
I
much
own,
more money.
I'll usually sell mine for about what I paid for them. So like if I sell an Illumicrate one because I have to pay more for shipping and everything, I'm not going to list it on Pango for $12.
I was actually kind of on the side of the people that upsell like crazy. I was just saying that like
People pay for it.
yeah, people are paying for it, then why not?
that's how the market works.
Because like if you just that's the thing that like people used to say to Jade all the time, and I agree with her. If you sell it for $20, then somebody's gonna buy it for $20, and instead of cherishing it and liking it, they're gonna turn around and sell it for $300.
But like
And so that person that wants it is still gonna have to pay more for it regardless, except for you're not getting any of the money back for it.
the only advantage is if like somebody you know wants it, I'd be like, sure.
That's
Here.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
And then I was
Um,
also just saying how, like, to be honest, too, like, the markup is real and, like, that, like, those things could be worth that much money in a couple years. Like, they could be worth, like, a lot of money depending on success. Like, if you had, like, a first edition, special edition of, like, Game of Thrones in
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple
I
years, I
mean-
think that would sell so much, right? Like,
Mhm.
like rare books are like already a market.
mhm.
They're just really old. They're not like this. I was like, because the only special editions I own are they're like actual special editions, Prince of Thorns and the Green Mountain Saga, and then I have the 10th anniversary of Leviathan Wegs, but you can buy that at Barnes and Noble.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I never count those. Like, I always want to say, like, I'm like, I always have to clarify. I was like, I have them, but I feel like those aren't special editions. I can just buy them at the store. And
Yeah,
it's
like
not
I
we
like that
do a
bookstores are doing
10th
prettier things.
Sorry, go. What?
I just meant I like that bookstores are doing prettier things now.
And like, not like with the 10th anniversary, they take it off the shelves. Like, you can have that forever now.
Mm-hmm.
and like the Farseer trilogy, I have that in the
I have those
illustrated.
too. My dad has actually bought me all of those though. No, he bought me the second and the third when they're actually signed by Robin Hobb, which I didn't get to like physically meet her to do, but I still find that interesting.
Yeah. And then I bought the Cradle special editions, but they haven't arrived yet, so I haven't counted them. And then
You have them coming to your possession.
yes, I own them, but
My problem
Well-
with special editions and like sprayed edges is sometimes I'm hesitant to read them because you can screw up the sprayed edges and like
I read-
smudge them.
I read the Jade War special edition because I was just like, I own it. I might as well read it.
I don't think it's really a big deal. If you just read it once and you don't like rip the pages, you're probably not going to be rough enough on it to do that.
This is literally some of my biggest issues with it too. I was like, why am I just gonna buy a book to look pretty on my shelf? Like,
And not read
it's
it. Yeah.
the same reason that I'm a dog ear, a spine breaker, any of those
Yeah.
things is because like I don't want my books to just look pretty on my shelf. My personal opinion. So I was like, but with Prince of Thorns, I technically didn't read it because I already owned the mass market.
I try not to bend spines if I don't have to. Now, like if it's a mass market or if it's a super tight UK edition and you need to comfortably read it, then yeah, I'm going to. But if I don't have to and it doesn't like, I'm not going to just intentionally do it because I can, if that makes sense.
It does.
But I see your point too.
I've never really understood the like problem with it. But I think it's because I don't notice it. It's another thing where I just like I suck at like covers. Like if you asked me what cover is this, I'd be like, what? Because I just don't notice those things with my eyes, but some people do.
I wonder what's going to be on the spine of King of Thorns.
That
That's
apparently is
fun.
shipping super fast. Like apparently they're boxed, like the one that I just bought today. They're like boxed and ready to go.
Well, because they found a random box, they're like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
love that
shocked
they
I
were
was still able to get that because I was not planning to buy it. And then Cassie was like, just go look. Because I thought that the 10th anniversary edition was like the Name of the Wind one where you could just buy it. Then I realized that you couldn't just buy it anywhere. And I was like, well, if I can't get the sequel, then I don't know that I really care that much about having just the first one. And then the tweet happened, and I was like, well, dang it.
I was
and
very
then me,
excited about that tweet.
And then
And
the
then-
tweet happened.
and then
I'm
me
gonna
and Cassie bully.
I agree with this.
And then I really want to do a Broken Binding sub.
Me too.
Me three.
You know what? I anyone here guess would know now, but like, because I didn't like Shadow Was Lost, don't like the Goblin Emperor. So like, 4 out of those books are not books that I want anymore. But yet I'm like, I really want this sub.
Well, it's because the concepts, like with Fairy I look at those books, I'm like, I would hate this novel with the burning passion of my soul.
Yeah.
Same. I've never had a sub where I thought, man, I'm gonna like those books, and I'm going to consistently probably like them. Where
Mhm.
like with the Broken Binding, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, those are all books I've wanted to read. Like they're not
Right.
books that I'm just going to attempt to read because I got a special edition of them. So far, every single book on that list has been a book where I was like, I want to read that, I want to read that, I want to
Mhm.
read that, I want to read that. Whether I liked them, debatable, but
Yeah.
But you still were planning to read it regardless.
yeah,
And that's the thing is if you get a special edition and you don't love the book, you can sell it to somebody who will.
yeah. I don't really know where I'd do that here, but
eBay.
I guess eBay, yeah.
You can do it.
Or your Discord.
I feel like Pango needs to expand to Canada.
There's something about our shipping or something. I don't know.
And stuff.
I mean, Book of the Month was it always in Canada?
Well, like
Or-
Pango should just have a Canada version, not that you could ship to us, but that you can ship within your own country.
No, there's something about how in the States, if you're selling, my mother is a librarian technician, so she was talking to me about this. In the States, if you are selling books, you can get cheaper shipping because books are obviously heavier, but they're just books.
They're media mail.
Yeah.
Where we used to have that in Canada, but we no longer do. So it's harder to do something like that because shipping is outrageous.
That makes sense. Yeah, we have a media mail, which is stupid cheap.
So
You're
I
trying-
think Book of the Month may figure something out to be able to come to Canada. I'm guessing that's what happened. Is like they had to figure shit out.
It's weird. Your shipping is just weird, and like transportation in general.
Yes, they do.
It's just
Why
like
is-
12.
Worse
What?
than you.
No, it's like flying in within Canada is really expensive, like you were saying.
Really expensive. It's because
Well,
we
like-
don't have like you guys have like high ports. It's the same with like the UK. You have a lot of bigger ports that like have like a lot of volume. For us, we just have the two sides of the country that are big volume ports. So it's expensive to go anywhere else because like
You would-
all of our flights have to go to those two ports. Like if I want to fly to the other side of the country, I have to fly sometimes to like Vancouver, then to go to Toronto. Like we
Yeah.
just have those high volume ports where like in the States, all of your ports are bigger than ours, if that makes sense.
Well, you would either have to go into the US and then out of the US into Canada, which I don't know the extradition of that.
They're a UK based bookseller, like indie bookseller.
It is nice
Yeah.
now that the pound sucks compared to the dollar. And
Yeah. Okay. I gotta go to bed. I'm sorry to be a party pooper, but I gotta go to bed.
Good night.
You want me to end the live or just leave?
Whatever you decide.
He'll be like, we're just gonna hang out and chat and you can just leave.
we're just gonna talk. Me and Cassidy are gonna argue about random things.
Yeah. You don't have to change the currency, they'll transfer do it for you.
I just didn't know what else. I didn't want to leave, so I just said good night.
Okay, I am going to bed now. Good night, everyone. We will see you soon. Bye.